You're listening to the Dynamic Thinking Project podcast. This is episode 47, and today's topic is alien abductions and hypnosis. Hey everyone, Aram Musalli here. Welcome to the Dynamic Thinking Project podcast. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. This podcast is released every Friday, and show notes are found at the website, themindtechinstitute.com. It's all one word. Come back often and feel free to add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. All links are in the show notes and website. And now, let's get started. In the previous episode, we talked about alien abductions, and also I mentioned that one of the easiest and fastest ways to recover memories from the abduction is the use of hypnosis, and especially hypnosis regression, which it should be performed by a qualified and certified hypnotherapist. But we'll get to that later. However, it is also fair to talk about some of the downside, or better say, the disappointment that might come out of the regression session, especially if it's performed by an unqualified hypnotherapist. So in this episode, we're going to cover very important points such as what is the subconscious mind, of course, in relation to our today's topic, and how does regression work in regards to abductions and the false memories collected during the regression session, which often are confused as alien abductions. The subject of the conscious, subconscious, and the unconscious mind is big, but here we will cover only what is related to abductions. And if you're interested in learning more about the mind and how it works, or if you would like to study and become a fully qualified hypnotherapist, neurolinguistic programming practitioner or master practitioner, or if you would like to become a life coach or a counselor, now you can study all that online. All you have to do is visit mti.edu.au or themindtechinstitute.com, and you will find all these courses along with many other courses once you click on the online courses tab. And also, all our diplomas and advanced diplomas are accredited and recognized worldwide. And for more information, all can be found online at themindtechinstitute.com. With that being said, and going back to our main topic, and just a little refresher about alien abductions. Aliens or ET abduction starts often when the person is very young, but it can also be at any age. And this is called, as I mentioned in the previous episode, a close encounter of the fourth kind. Even though there might be an agreement of doing this on another level, the experience itself may still very unusual and very scary to the person when it happens, because the physical mind cannot make sense out of it. And amnesia, or to forget the event, is also part of the event. The experience begins most often when the person is at home in bed, and most often at night, though sometimes abductions may occur from a car or outdoors. Usually there is an intense blue or white light, a buzzing or humming sound, anxiety or fear, and the sense of an unexplained presence also may be in the room or somewhere. But there is this sense of something present. It cannot be explained. A craft with flashing lights is seen, and the person is transported or floated into it. Once inside the craft, the person may be subjected to various medical procedures, often involved in removal of eggs or sperm and the implementation of a small object in the nose or elsewhere. Communication with aliens is usually through telepathy. The abductee feels helpless and is often restrained or partially or completely paralyzed. Even their tongue would be paralyzed, and they cannot scream or talk, and the only noise they can make is as if they are screaming but without noise. In hypnosis, some of these experience recalls are very clear and personal, with great and extremely descriptive details. Others may only have a general sense. Many cases are what one might describe as gray, about 4 feet high, with a slender body and neck, a large head, and huge black, slanted almond-shaped eyes, just the typical alien being that you see in movies or TV shows. So basically, this is what is often reported, and many people consciously, they might remember that they have been paralyzed and felt some sort of presence in the room, and they couldn't talk or scream, but they cannot remember any examination or extracting female eggs and male sperms or any kind of implants or physical healing unless during a hypnosis regression. Now, I'll briefly explain about the conscious and the subconscious mind. And once again, this is part of our hypnosis training. And for more information, you can visit the mindtechinstitute.com and you can click on the online courses tab. So the conscious mind, in relation to our topic, basically it's the rational and the analytical mind. It's the mind that it thinks and tries to make sense of things. Also try to make sense of experiences and events, to subcategorize them, or let's say to put them into folders. But at the same time, the conscious mind has a short-term memory, and it can be easily manipulated since it's very slow comparing to the amount of information that your senses are collecting each second. On the other hand, the subconscious mind is where all the information, events, and experiences, and basically everything you have passed through in your life, whether analyzed by the conscious mind or not, and even during the time when you were in the womb, and maybe even before that, are all stored in the subconscious mind. So unlike the conscious mind, the subconscious mind has a very long-term memory. And it's like a biological hard drive where everything is stored in it. But the downside, it can also be manipulated if a suggestion or any type of information could pass through something called the critical factor of the subconscious mind, which is like a guard gate to protect it from getting hijacked. And yes, the subconscious mind can get hijacked through hypnosis and other type of mind control techniques. So all the hidden and stored memories which are not available to you through the conscious mind to be remembered and recognized are all stored in the subconscious mind, and a qualified hypnotherapist can get to them and extract them without disturbing any other stored information. And no, the hypnotherapist cannot get to your credit card PIN number while you're in hypnosis. It's not the type of hypnosis we teach anyway. The procedure may sound dangerous or scary, but actually it's not. You'll be in a very relaxed state and no harm whatsoever involved in the process, especially when it's performed by a qualified hypnotherapist as our graduates. And maybe you've seen some people experience some frightening memories during the hypnotic regression, but I assure you that a qualified hypnotherapist can deal with the situation accordingly. And you may also choose to remember or not to remember what you have remembered during the hypnosis regression. Now, here where hypnosis gets into the false memory debate and loses its credibility when it comes to witnesses and abductions. Hypnosis regression is a great way to get to the hidden or forgotten memories if it's done by a qualified hypnotherapist and if it's done properly. I know I've said that too many times, but here's why. In hypnosis, especially if you have studied with us, you would know that in hypnosis there are many types of regressions. And there are also two types of regressions are called directed and recreational regressions. We also teach those too. We teach them and we use them for pain relief, but those two types of regressions aren't meant to be for recalling memories or remembering anything. These two types of regressions are meant to be used for someone who is going through pain to relieve them from that pain by either creating positive memories for them or by directing them into positive experience. But those memories and experiences, they don't actually exist and cannot and should not be used for abductions. Here's an example of how some unqualified hypnotherapists, they use those two regression techniques for abductions. For example, there are some self-claimed hypnotherapists, such as the aura reading and the new age stuff. So what they do is they get you to sit down and relax, and they ask you to breathe, and they ask you to count backward from 10, for example, to 1, making you think you are hypnotized, but of course you're not. And then the self-claimed hypnotherapist would tell you something like, remember when you were at night and saw a beam of light, and then you saw yourself laying down on a white bed with beautiful beings around you, and they tell you those beings are called the Nordics. They coming to visit us from the Pleiades constellation, and they are your guardian angels. Well, first of all, this is not regression, because a qualified hypnotherapist doesn't guide the person, the hypnotized person, as what they saw or heard or experienced. All these memories are considered as false because the hypnotized person has been directed to see them or experience them. In a real regression, you would see the qualified hypnotherapist mostly quiet, while the hypnotized person is doing all the talking. And also, the qualified hypnotherapist would test the hypnotized person or the subject if they are really hypnotized or just relaxed, and if they are above or below somnambulism. All these tests and techniques are also taught during our hypnosis training. And every now and then you get these people, they say, we went to a hypnotherapist and we did a regression, and we found that we've been abducted by aliens, and we have some implants and microchipped in us. So the hypnotherapist or the self-claimed hypnotherapist, basically they're making them living a life of fear and paranoia, while most of these memories are false memories implanted by the unqualified hypnotherapist, whether intentionally or unintentionally. You know, even a movie you've watched or a book you've read may also appear to you as a real experience during a fake regression, and you most likely might believe it. And also you get those people, maybe you've heard about them too, they say we've been abducted by some positive light beings, and those light beings, positive beings, they told us that we are some indigo children and on some aura mission. I mean, for heaven's sake, all these psychedelic stories fooling people into something which they are not, and they make the legit ones look like fools. These things must be addressed about hypnosis and regressions. Hypnotic regressions are real, of course, and great way to uncover events. I don't deny hypnosis, otherwise I wouldn't be teaching it in the first place. And I personally don't deny the existence of other beings, whether on Earth or in the cosmos. I also don't deny special abilities such as ESP and others, but I don't support such delusional people who are fooling others into delusions and stories. We all have minds and logic, and we have them for a reason, to use them. So, yes, some people say hypnotic regression are unreliable for abductions and to uncover some forgotten memories. Yes, I agree, because lots of these fake regressions, they are being used, of course, for personal gain. So, you shouldn't believe those type of regressions if they are not performed by a qualified hypnotherapist. But the real hypnotic regressions, yes, they are real, and all these information are yours if you are not directed to see them or to experience them. Anything during a hypnosis regression, the so-claimed hypnotherapist, if he tells you, do you see that or do you hear that, it means that self-claimed hypnotherapist is directing you to see them. But of course, it's nothing but an illusion, and actually this is called hallucination. Of course, it's not the same as the psychedelic hallucination, but this is a self-induced hallucination. So yes, you can also be directed into seeing and experiencing things which they didn't really exist. So basically we have covered the major points about this topic, and let's always keep an open mind, but not to become naive. That's it for today, and once again, if you would like to study and become a fully qualified hypnotherapist, a neurolinguistic programming or NLP master practitioner, a life coach, or even a counselor, now you can study all that totally online. All you have to do is visit mti.edu.au or themindtechinstitute.com, and you'll find all these courses along with many other courses. Once you click on the online courses tab, all our diplomas and advanced diplomas are accredited and recognized worldwide. And for more information, all can be found online at themindtechinstitute.com. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you can email me. The email is on our website, themindtechinstitute.com. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you are listening to this podcast on YouTube. The Dynamic Thinking Project podcast is released every Friday. Until next time, take care and enjoy your weekend. This is Aram Muselli, signing out.